Alright, let me just look at this video.
Now, when I say unkilled, I mean how long it took top guilds to down certain bosses from when they were first available. Like...
So that's... I love how at the beginning here, it starts immediately with him saying top 10 unkilled raid bosses, and then him clarifying the obvious clickbait that he used to get people to go to the video at the beginning. Right? Just right off, right at the beginning, get that out of the way, it's done.
Say, for example, how long did it take top guilds to down Mythic Archimond after beating Mythic Manaroth? And not how long it took them to down Mythic Archimond since the first day of the opening of Hellfire Citadel. Instead, it's from when the first time they were actually able to start doing the fight. Now that that distinction is made, let's get started on the list. Number 10 is Heroic Alakir, which took 36 days to down after the first kill of Heroic Conclave of Wind. Heroic Alakir was way overtuned when it was first attempted.
You can only have like 20 people on the platform or like 15 people.
In the kill video for the first Paragon kill in 25-man, you can actually see them just straight up leave about 8 players out of the fight during phase 1.
Yeah.
Because it was actually easier to have less players in the fight for that phase. That goes to say something about how messed up the fight was if having less players made the fight easier. Number 9 is Heroic Lich King, 25-man. No. He wasn't downed until 42 days after Heroic Putricide's death.
Really? Well,
the Lich King suffered from Alakir problems of being overtuned and just generally a very difficult raid encounter. But that's understandable, seeing as he's one of Warcraft's most popular villains.
Of course he would,
giving him anything less than a crazy hard raid fight would piss off a lot of fans.
You weren't able to do
The first kill wasn't achieved until the ICC stack started rolling out, giving players an extra 5% damage and healing every couple of weeks until it hit 30%. It was even thought to be an impossible fight without the ICC buff.
The fuck?
But one of the top guilds later turned off their buff and went in for a kill to prove it could be done. Way later on in the expansion,
well, yeah, they had like best in slide gear, of course. Yeah.
Number 8, Alar, the Phoenix God, killed 48 days after Magtheridon's death. Despite being the first boss of Tempest Keep, he was the second hardest boss of the raid. Alar had a very hard to deal with meteor mechanic that was supposed to split damage with everyone in it. So the idea was to have a group of people soak it so it wouldn't wipe the raid. Only, it was overtuned and did a ton of damage, and made the fight near impossible. So, Guild had to think of creative ways to deal with the meteors, like having everyone in the raid level a Warlock to level 18 to learn Soulstone, and have half the raid get out of the raid Soulstones just to go out and die to the meteor and res. This was technically cheating, but Blizzard never really did anything about it.
Yeah.
Other than nerfing Soulstone every chance it got to try and prevent this tactic. Another way of splitting the damage was to use Snake Trap to split the meteor
and then everybody goes inside and does the
snakes.
boss. Shit was hilarious.
Harder to do, but technically not cheating like the Soulstone method. Oh, and Alar would also randomly charge Clothies and one-shot them. That also contributed to his long time of being unkilled. Number 7, the Four Horsemen and Vanilla Nax.
What?
They lasted 56 days after Gothic's death.
What the fuck?
The original Four Horsemen are one of the hardest fights ever put
Weren't they like bugged?
Mainly because it had a very unique mechanic. You see, in order to do the Four Horsemen, you needed 8 tanks. And not only did you need 8 tanks, you needed 8 warrior tanks with a specific 4-set bonus that made it so your taunt couldn't miss. Because in those days, taunt could miss, and 1 missed taunt meant a wipe on 4 horsemen. So the reason this fight took so long to down was basically just having to gear up 8 warrior tanks with 8 4-set bonuses to do literally 1 boss. Want to know how many other bosses besides 4 horsemen used 8 tanks?
0.
0.
Oh,
Number
right.
6,
How about that?
High Astromancer Solarian, killed 59 days after
How many tanks you needed for 4 horsemen?
Another Tempest Keep boss.
Oh, 8.
This boss went through 3 nerfs because it was considered too hard to kill. That, combined with most guilds working on Alar in the same instance instead of High Astromancer, leads to her long unkilled time.
I remember these bosses
her first iteration had her being a high health boss with a front arc arcane missile attack that ignored arcane resistance. Its second form, after Blizzard decided that was crazy hard to beat, was a nerf to her health and arcane missiles that hit the entire raid instead of an arc cone, which still ignored arcane resistance. Top guilds were finally able to get a kill at this version, but it was considered still too hard. It was later nerfed 2 more times to be what it is today.
It's crazy.
Number 5,
I don't remember any of these.
Yogg-Saron,
Okay, this
Alone
one, yeah,
in the
I remember
Darkness.
this.
Killed 70 days after Yogg won Light in the Darkness. This version of the Yogg fight with no keepers was long thought to be mathematically impossible to do.
Wow,
until
that
the
seems
Chinese Guild
familiar.
Stars was able to do the fight with some really smart kiting patterns to the ads that spawned in
Yep.
the last phase. Plus, Warlocks being able to channel the boss without having to actually face it.
That's right, dude.
There was one other kill before Stars got their legit kill, where the Raid just exploited the encounter by evading the ads in the last phase by getting healing aggro on
That
them
was
from inside
Kripparrian.
Yogg's brain room, but that one didn't count for obvious reasons. Number
Good
4,
job, Krip.
Ragnaros. Killed 74 days after Major Domo's death.
Why did it take...
Ragnaros was one of the first final bosses
Why are these
ever,
take so long?
and everyone was still pretty new
Nobody
to
knew what the
raiding,
fuck they
so
were
his
doing.
long kill
I
time
guess
shouldn't
not.
be all that surprising, really. It was simply a much tougher and long as hell fight compared to
Wow.
everything else in Molten Core. Number 3, Cro-Magus, tied with Ragnaros at 74 days after Ebonrock's death.
What the fuck?
Cro-Magus was one of the more technically challenging fights in vanilla, when not many fights besides maybe final bosses
That's
of the
so
raid
weird.
were. It was also in the same
Yeah, I guess
raid
people didn't
where
have
2 of
DVM.
the hardest boss fights ever were the first and second boss of the instance, causing many guilds to break up before even getting to Cro-Magus.
That's true.
As for the fight itself, well, it was just a very complicated fight. We have many like it today, but it was a new thing for vanilla raiders, so it took them some time to get used to the mechanics. Once they did,
It was
though,
actually hard,
it
and you
became
had
a
to do
lot
the
easier to
mechanics.
do on attempts afterwards.
That's why
There
it was
wasn't
so hard
really
to beat.
any bugs or over-tuning mistakes that half the other bosses on this list have. Cro-Magus was just a technically challenging fight.
It was the first one we'd
Number
ever had.
2, Cthulhu. Killed 86 days after the Twin Emperor's first death.
Well, then who's
Cthulhu
number
is
one?
considered by most WoW players as the hardest boss fight ever made.
What the fuck?
I don't personally agree with that. Cthulhu was just horribly overtuned and bugged. The first kill didn't happen until after Blizzard nerfed the fight, because it was technically impossible to do, even with
KJ,
all the
you
best
think?
gear in the game, and
We'll
if
see.
every player did their job perfectly. So why is Cthulhu only the second longest unkilled boss? If he was unkillable,
Okay.
well, because there was another boss in the same instance that was also pretty much unkillable and way less sought after. The number 1 unkilled boss is Oro, who was killed 87 days after the Twin Emperor's defeat,
What?
and 1 day after Cthulhu. You see,
What?
the thing with Oro was that he was
didn't know that?
overtuned and bugged,
No.
plus an optional boss.
I had no
So
idea.
no one really bothered with it and worked on Cthulhu
What
instead.
the fuck?
His biggest
You're a
bug was
newbie
his
booby,
Sandblast
dude.
ability,
I guess I
which hit
am.
everyone in front of him for enough damage to take about 90% of a geared caster's health, and also stunned
Wow.
everyone for a couple of seconds. He would then turn to his next highest aggro target and do it again.
Jesus
The
Christ.
idea behind this mechanic was to create a small safe zone for the raid while only 2 tanks got hit. What instead happened was he would cast Sandblast 4 times before the first stun wore off.
Every boss
Not
is
2,
bugged.
meaning there were
This
no
is
safe
great.
zones. Everyone got hit
Well,
and
what was
stunned if they
AQ?
didn't die from the ability damage itself.
To
To top it off, his Quake ability was overtuned and did more damage than it should have. He stayed underground longer than he was above ground. His ads that spawned during this phase were also overtuned, and sometimes he
That's
just
so
wouldn't come
weird.
back up after going underground, spawning ads endlessly. All in all, pretty nasty fight. There's a reason people avoided it before Blizzard finally fixed it.
No, I guess so.